this week. County Library System is hosting its annual Muggle Quidditch match in the park. Do you know what Quidditch is? Do you know what Muggles are?
Yes, I'm aware of Quidditch and Muggles from Harry Potter. But what do you do in this? How do you play this? What is a snitch in this? Is a snitch just a guy?
Welcome to Double Primer episode 44. I'm Sean, and you just heard Sil Turner ask questions about Muggle Quidditch. Quidditch is a fictional sport invented by author J.K. Rowling for her fantasy book series Harry Potter. It is a sport played by witches and wizards riding flying broomsticks. Matches are played on a large oval pitch with 3 ringed goals of different heights on each side between 2 opposing teams which try to capture the golden snitch. A real-life version of the game has been adapted, in which the players use fake brooms and run instead of flying. In this episode, we will hear from the hosts of the local Quidditch event, Kristin Gwin and Kate Jacobsen from the Cobb County Library Systems.
Here at a Daily Journal, they bill it as the 4th annual Quidditch in the Park event. Is Quidditch in the Park the main program? Is that like a branch of a larger program?
I think they came up with that. They made that up. They came up with that on their own.
What do you guys think of it?
We've always had it at the same location. We've always done it at Lake Ackworth Beach. So maybe that's where they're getting that from, but that's the only thing that we have done there. The Ackworth Library does a story time there in the mornings during the summer, but this is like its own separate thing. Yeah.
So internally, you think of it as like Quidditch and Cobb, or like Quidditch? Like, what do you think of it?
We've just always, Muggle Quidditch. That was
right.
Term. Yeah. Or Muggle Quidditch match.
And it's kind of like our kickoff teen event for the summer reading program. So we usually do it before the big Cobb County Library summer kickoff party and before all of our regular programs start. And it's just kind of a, hey, teens, guess what? We got stuff for you to do this summer. We're going to kick it off with this really big, ginormous event.
Yeah, it was a way for us to get teens involved because it had that niche that they liked. And then that way we were like, oh, hey, we also have art programs and blah, blah, blah. And it pulled them in for the rest of the summer. So that's kind of how this has continued to go.
And I don't know if you realize this, but teens are a hard demographic to get at the library. They don't think of us as somewhere cool to be. And then they're just busy. So we found out that if we find something that they're interested in, like Harry Potter, we've got a built-in audience and we don't have to work too super hard to get them to come in.
Well, before I talk to you, I kind of talked to some friends to try to get like an understanding of what does the average person think of Quidditch in the Park, or how, do they even understand what that is? And as near as I could tell, like I feel like there's like kind of 3 overlapping things. There's like the game of Quidditch, which comes from the Harry Potter series. There's Muggle Quidditch, which is the game you guys are playing, and then there's the overall program that this is a part of Cobb County's library system, that it's like an event for the public, right? So we can kind of dig into those however you want, but like I guess the first thing is that could you tell me like what is the relationship of Muggle Quidditch to the literary Quidditch?
Well, the Muggle version is non-magical.
Okay.
And so I like to go to the schools and tell kids about, okay, we're going to play Quidditch, and they get so excited, and some of the younger kids even think, oh, you have brooms that you can fly on? I'm like, well, no, sadly, we have not gotten to that point in technology yet. So, it's a much more, how do I want to say it, kind of it's not as magical, but it's still fun, and it does get kids like me who were not athletic and not very active in my teen years. It gets them involved. You should see some of these kids who are like, they don't play sports, they don't care about being outside and doing all that, but when we play this, because they love the book so much, it gets them active.
And it has the same rules for the most part, minus the fact that, we don't have a little tiny ball that flies around. We have a kid with a ball sack.
You cannot say that. It's a little sparkly ball and a yellow sock, and they stuff it into their waistband, and they run around, and that person is the golden snitch. And in order to catch the snitch, you have to tag them and grab the ball out of their pants, which sounds really bad.
Oh, it sounds pretty cool. So let me be the surrogate for like completely unaware people. As I understand it, so the magic involved is more in the imagination. Is that Like, that's the first layer.
Yes.
And, like, the big difference is that in the literary Quidditch, they fly around, like, on broomsticks, and they're trying to score points by getting a ball and a hoop. And then, like, you get even more points by capturing the snitch, which in the books is magical, but someone will be performing the role of the snitch by sort of being kind of like playing keep away or catch or that, like they're trying to win by getting the snitch, which is a ball in a bag attached to a player. So have you guys dispensed with the scoring through the hoops part, or is that part of it still? Or
yeah, so we still keep score for the kids. We've decreased the point amounts.
Okay.
So in the books, when you catch the snitch, it's 150 points. I think it's 150 points. So even if no one's made a score, if you catch the snitch in the book, you can win the game. I guess you could still do that in the non-magical version, but we've decreased it down to 30 points. Because the kids like to play. If you catch the snitch right away, it's much easier to catch a human snitch than a magical one. And they want to keep playing, so we made it only 30 points. Or Quincy made it just 30 points.
Yeah, our professional Quidditch player helped simplify the game for us, too. Otherwise, it is just like a normal, any other, like football, and I mean, there's all sorts of little things to it that create this intricate game.
Mm-hmm.
So you touched on an important and interesting thing, which is that you're going to have a professional on hand. So what is a professional Quidditch player? How do they become professional? Like, what does that mean?
So Quincy Hildreth is our professional Quidditch player, and he plays on the Atlanta community team. I believe he played Quidditch in college, because some colleges have actual like intramural teams and even teams that will go out and play at other universities. So when he graduated, he moved to Atlanta, and he started a team in Atlanta. And we call him professional because last year he was selected to play on the national team at the World Cup in Italy.
Oh, wow.
So we've been very lucky to have him the past couple of years. The first year we did it, we tried to run it ourselves.
And we're not sports people. So it was, because it is still a sports game.
So you do have to run around and sweat and get sunburned.
Yeah, and how to call plays. And
So we've been lucky to have him.
So Quincy, what was his last name?
Hildreth.
That almost sounds like a stage name. Like he could be right out of the pages of the books, doesn't he?
Right.
Quincy Hildreth. Like, what did he major in herbology or?
Right. Yeah, that man can run around for the full 2 hours, and he doesn't get tired. We were always kind of like, Quincy, you want some water? You want a break? He's like, no, I'm good. He's all cool.
Yeah.
This year we don't get him, though, because he's going out of town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This year we're I guess, partnering with the YMCA. So that's actually be something if we could mention that. Yeah. They would probably appreciate that.
Yeah, they would be happy about that.
So we're having someone from the YMCA come over and help us run the game in place of Quincy for this year.
So help me paint this picture. Like, how many people will be involved? Will it be adults? Will it be kids? Like, who's going to be playing? Who's going to be watching?
We're going to have about 50 kids, and we will have, the youngest ones are usually about 10, up to 17 or 18, depending on, whatever that cap is, if they want to lie.
Yeah.
But so we break the kids up into 4 teams, 2 of the younger teams, and then 2 older teams, so that way they don't mush each other when they're playing. And so 2 of them will go in and play the game first. So about 45 minutes-ish of the game, while the other 2 groups are doing the crafts. And all the crafts are made for teens or more intricate crafts.
Yeah.
But then we have the scavenger hunt going on, which is all around the
park area.
Mm-hmm. And then there's also the playground there. So that's why we say it's really great for families, because it's not, even if you're not participating in the actual event, we have all these other things going on. And plus the fact that Ackworth Beach is just awesome, and they have the beach there.
And there's a nice playground. Yeah. So we'll have parents on the sidelines kind of cheering, and we've got some like serious Quidditch moms and dads. Like,
no joke, they people love Harry Potter.
Their kid has never played this game before, but they are it's like if their kid was at a baseball game, they are in there coaching them. It's hilarious.
Let's say you're not playing, nor are you a parent of a kid, do you think this is something like the general public would be enjoyed, like being able to just come watch and see like Quidditch in person?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always tried to, like, I tell my patrons, if they don't have kids or their kids aren't old enough to come and play, I always tell them, come and watch because it's fun. It's hard to imagine what the game looks like because if you've read the books or seen the movies, you have an idea of what the magical version looks like, but the non-magical version is really interesting to watch. And, you can look up YouTube videos, but it's even more fun to go watch it in person.
Now, I
would say anybody could come and watch and have fun.
I think I saw online that instead of brooms, you guys use pool noodles, like the soft pool noodles. Is that correct?
Yes. Last year or the year before, we sprung for a set of pool noodles just for Quidditch. They're color-coded, so you know that all the people with the red pool noodles are one team, and then what's the other color?
It's actually blue and orange.
Blue and orange, yeah.
That's nice. So they don't have to wear the jerseys. They can just use the noodles.
Yeah. Right.
And they don't get impaled. So we don't want anyone to get hurt playing Muggle Quidditch.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. Do you have any recommendations for like the day of, like whether that's packing suntan lotion or like planning on when to get there or?
Suntan lotion. Oh my goodness, yes.
I have gotten burned every single year.
I haven't because I have been that much better. But we usually we start at 10 o'clock, and we usually recommend people to start getting there at least 15 minutes early for registration.
So we can check you in, get you assigned to a team, and you can kind of get settled in and figure out, where you're going to be.
And you mentioned you're going to be partnering with the YMCA. Will the YMCA be having Quidditch in the future, or is this like a one-off event for them?
That's the hope. Jared, I'm not sure what's his last name, but he does the teens over at the YMCA, and I think that was going to be something that he would be interested in trying to bring over for them.
Are you trying to help people that are interested in Quidditch maybe also check out other library events, or would you think that the big outcome is that you hope that they come into the physical library location?
Yes, definitely. We this year we're going to be better about it. Every year we come and we bring them in with the Quidditch, and then we hit them with, guess what? We've got art programs. I'm having an archivist from KSU come out to do a What's in the Hogwarts Library. So she'll bring all kinds of rare, old, magical-looking books from their rare books collection. And then we can kind of promote other teen programs that we have going on. So yeah, we definitely hope that they will, because they had fun at this event, they will come and visit us for other fun events.
The actual date is May 30th from 10 to noon at Lake Ackworth. Is that correct? And, are you guys doing anything to like promote it before or after? Is this something that you like keep people aware of throughout the year? Like, will you be maybe talking about it at MiniCon or any other like Cobb County events?
Oh, that's a good idea to go to MiniCon. Yeah. I guess we usually don't have too much of a problem promoting it. Usually we just do like some posts on the library social media. I talk it up at my library. We all talk it up in our own libraries with the patrons. But it's kind of cool because this is our 4th year doing it. We've kind of gotten a core group of kids who do it every year, and they've made friends with other people who've done the event. So they will come in throughout the year and go, when is it going to be this year? So they're kind of like, they're already anticipating it before we even plan it.
We had a Yule Ball in December last year at the West Cobb Library, and we had about 300 people. And it was a family event, but it was a Harry Potter event, and so that was another time we could talk about what we were going to be doing with Quidditch and that sort of thing. So people love Harry Potter.
They do.
Now, like, I like Harry Potter, you guys like Harry Potter, obviously, but for people who are completely in the dark, are there like YouTube videos or anything that people could like check out to see kind of like what we're talking about? Like, do you have any recommendations on that?
Ooh, let's see. I can't remember. I remember when we were the first year we did Quidditch, when we were running it ourselves, there were a few videos that we looked at. There was a college team that made a how-to video, and it was really funny and short and like very concise, and they made it simple. I can try to find it and send it to you so you can put it in show notes.
And then there's also, you can watch the legit games on there as well.
Yes.
So you can see the silly ones, and then what it's like to actually see legit players play the game.
Yes, and those can get kind of rough.
Yeah.
It's very much like rugby. And I don't think we mentioned that the snitch, whoever plays the snitch, they can play tricks on people. They don't really have a whole lot of rules that they have to abide by. They can hide. They can set up booby traps. It can get a little crazy with the real players.
Wow. And so, I guess people that get into Quidditch, they can root on Quincy at the World Cup. Like, do you know about that schedule, or?
Ooh, let's see. I don't know if he's on it this year. I would think he is. I'd have to check with him.
But there definitely is like college leagues, and like, is that something that you could find online? Like, is there a league or?
Yeah, I believe those would be listed on the U.S. Quidditch League. They have an official website with official rules, and they update them every year or every other year. And they have a list of teams throughout the whole country, and even maybe there's an international site too where you can see teams in other countries. We used to have some active teams like at KSU, Georgia State, Georgia Tech, and we reached out to them when we first planned Quidditch in 2016, and nobody got back. I guess all their folks graduated and they didn't continue it on.
I'm interested in how you guys even started to think about having a Muggle Quidditch event at all.
Fun story.
Well, hopefully I know the story. What's our story? Well, for me, it was I had just gotten my position and I needed to do teen programs, so it was trying to figure out what we could do to get teens involved. Mm-hmm. And during that time, our summer reading program was
the theme of the summer reading program that year was sports. I can't remember the slogan, but Kristin and I are both not sports people. We're not athletic. We weren't very excited about the theme, but we got to talking because the job that I had at the time, I would cycle through the location that she had started working at. And we thought, well, we need a team program. And we need something kind of sportsy, but we don't like sports. What could we do? Oh, Muggle Quidditch. There we go. It ties in books and Harry Potter and teens.
And we figured that it was going to be great because you already had that captive audience, people who already like Harry Potter. So it just ended up being like just the perfect thing that we needed for me to kick off my time at that library and doing team programs, but also for us to really bring teen programs back into the libraries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there hadn't been a lot of teen programs up until that point, and I think we can credit Kristin with the renaissance of that at her location.
At the Mountain View branch, I know like the teen activity that seems really popular is the plays, and I just parenthetically mentioned that at the up-and-coming Sewell Mill location, they're doing a lot of good work with the mini-con. Do you think of Quidditch as being like your guys' big event, or do you guys have lots of ones you like?
I've definitely say for the last 4 years, it is, or I guess 3 years when we've done it, it's been our big event. We have started we had a big Star Wars event 2 years ago, and then this past year was our Yule Ball. So we've been incorporating different things. I like doing big programs.
Yes. Kristin's really great at putting on a big, huge program. She's got all the details, pulling it all together, and we all love to chip in and help and make a big regional program like that. So now we've kind of got two signature events. We've got Quidditch to kick off the summer, and then in the winter we'll do something like a Star Wars party or the Yule Ball.
Is Lake Ackworth the name of your location? What is the title of your branch?
So I'm at the Kennesaw Library. I'm in downtown Kennesaw.
And I'm from the West Cobb Library.
So
West Cobb Regional. So we're the larger branch
in this part of Cobb County. So across the whole library system, we're all kind of divided up into regions, and we're technically the West Cobb region. The Ackworth branch of the public library is just like a mile from Lake Ackworth Beach. So we already had a relationship with the city government, and they were like, yeah, go ahead, use that space. And so now it's a regional event.
Cobb is so big. Do you get to interact with the different branches very well, or not as often as you like, or what do you think?
We have a lot of friends at each branch, so we try as much as possible. We have the different regions, and I think that's usually kind of where we work the most with. But we have like the big summer reading party once a year, and that's everybody who's involved.
Across the whole county.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us are just, really enjoy working together. I think we have somebody coming over from
Sewell Mill.
And I would love, I have people all over the place that just like doing this kind of thing. And then hopefully, if they like it enough, then we'd be glad to help them, do something on their side of town too.
Yeah. We've a lot of collaborative people in the library system. And I think, was it last year or the year before? Mountain View did a big Harry Potter day, like an all day long Harry Potter event. And they did an indoor version of Quidditch. And we lent them some of our supplies and gave them some tips because we'd already been doing Quidditch for a couple years.
That's awesome. So, are you guys in the stages of planning any other events? Like, you still, on the drawing board, or you kind of wait till, the season comes around to worry about that kind of thing?
well, now we've got a lot. The Kennesaw and Ackworth Library are going to be closing in the next month and a half, 2 months. So that's going to be the next big thing. Is the North Cobb Library is going to be created?
Yes.
So right now I guess there's no big plans for program wise, but as soon as that location is open, you're going to be seeing a lot of
lots of good programs
that are going to come out of there. So,
are you excited about that? About the move, or bittersweet? Or
yes. Oh my gosh, very, very excited about that move. We have a very tiny space here, and the room that we're sitting in right now. The fire code is 30 people, but I'll get 50 to 70 plus in here for children's programs. And they're tiny bodies. They can fit in the room, but it's very cramped. And at the new space, we're going to have just so much more room to fit people. We're going to have more staff. We'll be able to offer so much more. We can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a very large library.
Yes, it's going to be bigger than West Cobb.
Yeah. So it's and then they're going to have big meeting spaces, and so
study rooms, a maker space. We're going to have a maker space.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, help me out, geographically, where will the actual site?
Right across the street from North Cobb High School. So it's at the corner of Old 41 and Blue Springs Road.
And it's literally right in the middle between Ackworth and Kennesaw.
Yeah.
So that was just a great space for them, to be able to literally meet in the middle.
Yes, right in the middle there.
You mentioned the location of being in between Ackworth and Kennesaw, and I met you guys at the art station Big Shanty in Kennesaw. I see Atlanta kind of ever expanding, and all these areas, Kennesaw is kind of getting bigger and bigger, and there's more families kind of moving in. And if you guys had any sort of observations or feelings about that kind of this growth.
Our co-worker Neely Simpson at the Ackworth Library, she's in library school right now working on her degree, and she had a project to do with demographics. I can't remember the exact numbers, but she said that Ackworth and Kennesaw are the two fastest growing cities in Cobb County right now. And man, you can see it in the traffic. I can see it in the people who are coming into the library. Every day there's people who've just moved here with their family and they want to get a library card. So with the new building, I think we're going to be able to reach so much more of the population just because our space is going to be bigger. Because there are tons of people moving here. I'm sure you see that at your branch, too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Jessie has, at the art station, sort of been bringing in these, robot imagery. She has, a robot at the door, and there's, a robot dog. Have you seen those?
Oh, I must have missed that.
I know.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of cool because it's you guys as community leaders kind of have this opportunity to kind of shape the imagery in these kids' lives. So I was kind of thinking it's cool that at the art station there's this robot kind of aesthetic, and that by default, by having Quidditch, there's a kind of magical fantasy element at your location. Is that something you guys do consciously, or is that something that just kind of as the need arise, it kind of happened?
I think that we just kind of change with for one, stuff that's interesting for us.
Yeah.
And if we know that there's a trend going on, we kind of, flow with it. We have so many creative people that work for us, and with us, and everybody wants to be able to make something or do something, so that's kind of
And libraries are a magical place. Yeah. The Cobb County, what is it? Our motto or our logo, whatever. It's dream, dare, and discover.
Yeah.
So I guess we do kind of maybe subconsciously drift towards a magical aesthetic.
Growing up in this area, I got a little bit sick of just everything being like Big Chicken or like railroads in terms of like the Big Shanty area, and it's like I think it's kind of nice to have like a different variety of kind of like.
Definitely, because yeah, I had that too. I spent part of my childhood growing up in Marietta. It was all okay, Big Chicken. Okay, there's more to us than that.
It's crazy what's happening now. I mean, just the downtown Marietta alone. I mean, the changes that you're seeing. I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
And I think that libraries are definitely going around that same path. Like we're becoming community centers and really kind of like embracing all this new change. It's great.
Yeah, and we're kind of like, this is an interesting time for libraries where we're kind of straddling both worlds of like this old school vision of the library where it's like, okay, it's just books and you're supposed to be quiet, and sometimes the library is that way, but sometimes we're really raucous and chaotic, and we got a lot of stuff going on, and the new technology that we're bringing in, it's an interesting time for us.
This was just like a weird side story, but it was like a girl came up one time and she was studying, and had been a baby crying, and the person who was helping her, she was like, "Isn't this supposed to be a library and supposed to be quiet?" She's like, and the girl, she was like, "Well, I guess we're just much more of a family environment now." And I was just like, it was just like, oh, because we do. You have to, you have that fine line of like, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable.
Right.
So, but yeah, we're a family place.
I will say, I don't think I've ever shushed anyone as a librarian, but I've been shushed.
But, yeah, the staff were definitely the loudest ones in the building.
Yeah.
To piggyback on your story, like a trend I've seen in community spaces is kind of cool that, like I mentioned plays before, and sometimes plays will have like special screenings which are like encouraging young children or maybe people who have like developmental delay, or like that usually like they don't feel welcome because it's like, well, we'll make too much noise and we're not going to be welcome. But I think that's kind of a positive trend I've seen, that where it's sort of saying like, no, you're welcome too, and this is your place too, and you're a part of the community, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. At least one of my guiding principles, libraries are for everyone. It doesn't matter your background or what you have going on in your life. Like, you are welcome here, always. You too.
Well, I was like, I just finished getting my master's,
Yes.
and one of my last my capstone was about library serving children with autism, and so like you said, needing to find them a place that they can just be themselves is something that, for one, we have to be educated and how to
be accommodating.
Yes, and so there's definitely a process involved, but I think that we're willing and wanting to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and on that note, I heard that you mentioned there's going to be your space at your new branch, and I feel like the big buzz in the community is like hearing about making like STEAM grow in the public education system. So, have you noticed like a kind of like paradigm shift, or like that the what's happening in libraries, and like what communities want out of them?
Yeah. We're definitely becoming more of a place where people go to. I mean, we're still a source of information, but people are coming to us more now for like experiences and to have a space to try something out with. There was a good quote from a YALSA symposium that I always like to use, which makes me sound kind of nerdy, which I guess I am, yeah. But this quote that I like to use says that libraries used to be the grocery store, and now we're the kitchen.
Very interesting.
Yeah. So we're kind of the grocery store and the kitchen. You can come to us to get the supplies, but now we're also a space where you can come and make stuff and experience.
And we're definitely the bridge in technology as well. So, I mean, just as an example, like our 3D printers, a lot of people had never even seen a 3D printer in real life. And so that has just been a big lure for some people. And now with these maker spaces, they will be able to come in. They could potentially use VR to create, a 3D imagery and then print it off right there in the same time. So it's pretty crazy what where we're going with all of it.
I've been really impressed with the very specific programs. Like there have been like coding for girl events. Like, have you been involved with any of that?
Yes.
Oh yes, yes, we have been actually. Cobb County Library used to offer, and I guess still in the future we're going to offer this program. It was a program called GEMS, which stands for Girls in Engineering, Math, and Science. And when we did it in the past, it was like a month-long weekly workshop for teen girls where they would get to kind of rub elbows with women in STEM, and they get to do a hands-on STEM activity. And it's kind of been put on pause for now. We're kind of in the process of expanding it or retooling it. But one of the girls who participated in GEMS with me and Kristin, all the years that we offered it at West Cobb, she's now, 16? Mm-hmm. And she was so inspired by her time participating in GEMS that she went on to participate in a Girls Who Code camp, and now she came to us with a program proposal. She's going to offer beginning coding for younger girls, and so she's going to do that at my library and at Kristin's library on the same day. Actually, she's an extrovert. She can handle 2 programs in a day.
I'm super impressed with her.
She is such a cool teenager.
Yeah,
she's so smart.
Yeah, and then we also have we're doing we're with the Makeys. We're making controllers. And there's another one. There's a good handful of different STEM programs that we're going to be offering over the summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and every Thursday during the month of June at my library, we're going to do Tween STEAM. So every week we'll do a different STEAM challenge. It's open to anybody aged 7 to 11.
As you're transitioning to this new location, do you guys kind of have your eyes open at like other locations, saying like, "Ooh, I want to decorate like that," or like, "Ooh, that's a good idea. I want to do stuff like that when our place is ready."
Oh yeah. Yes, definitely. Our libraries, or at least mine, the Kennesaw Library, it was built in 1967, so it's got a very old school feel to it. We're getting all new furniture. I'm not sure exactly. I haven't seen what they picked out for furniture, but I believe it's going to be similar to Sewell Mill. So it's going to be, bright and colorful, much more welcoming environment. And as far as programs go, I've just been keeping a list, like on Storytime Underground, which is a children's librarian Facebook group where people share program ideas and things that they've done. I've been writing down all kinds of stuff that I want to do. Sensory programs. There's a program called Tape Town where you just put down a bunch of tape and basically create a city on the floor.
Oh my God.
I can't wait to do that in the new space.
I just wanted to extend you the same offer the Maker Station kind of did for the Art Station, which was that if you guys have an event or it's like you'd like to coordinate and have us participate with one of your events, like I'm happy to communicate with you, and maybe we'll get to see you at MiniCon like I was teasing, and hopefully we'll get to see you in the future.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we definitely want to partner with you guys, especially in that maker space.
Yeah,
because we'll have the space, but that doesn't necessarily mean we're experts. We need to bring in the experts.
Yeah, the dream scenario is that we could help out, and then like the kids will have that space, and then like the dads can come work at our place if they want.
Yeah, there you go. Mutually beneficial.
Yeah. Well, was there anything else you kind of wanted to plug, or did you want to just say that date again for everybody?
May the 30th at Lake Ackworth Beach Quidditch.
10 to 12.
10 to 12. Get there early so you can check in and get registered on your team.
It's going to be magical.
It's going to be so magical. I can't wait.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
You just heard from Kristin Gwin and Kate Jacobsen from the Cobb County Library System talking about Muggle Quidditch. For more information about topics discussed, you can go to doubleprimer.com.